Hello, everyone. Well, I want to talk about is debt and getting out of debt. In this economic collapse that we're in, um, debt is something that can really hold you down, and you have to look at it as you have to look at it as like starting over. Um, Now, if you can remember now a time in the past, well, when you were first starting out, you had no debt. You might have had a student loan. But basically, you had no debt to speak of. You didn't have credit cards. You didn't have a mortgage. You didn't have a car payment. You're probably driving an old junker, whatever. And when you remember that time, you probably realize that you had more money than you've ever had um, in your adult life. It's once you started to acquire the new car, the house, um, all the various bits and pieces that make up your life. Um, the cable bill, the cell phones, all these things. That is when you really began to feel that you really weren't in control, and you were basically working for them. You know that saying, "Hi ho, I owe. It's off to work I go." Well, you can change that, but it will require a bit of sacrifice and some work. But remember, you guys are worth it. I mean, it's your life. This is not a rehearsal for life. This is life. And you could say, well, I'd like to do things for myself. But right now, all I'm doing is paying off credit cards or paying off a mortgage on this giant house that I have. Now, if we look at what what basically you have to list your expenses. You know, chances are it's the mortgage. It might be the apartment, but with an apartment, if you don't pay the rent, you just move to another apartment. Then you have your credit cards, and then all the various payments, utilities, car payment, gasoline, so on and so forth. So let's sort of take it one at a time, starting with what you can do this week to alleviate some debt. I mean, this is, in the next 7 days, by next week, you can reduce your debt dramatically and reduce your payments dramatically. First thing, cable. Paying between $100 and $150 a month for cable, maybe even more if you got one of those super packages. Call it up, cancel it. And that big screen TV that you paid $800 for, sell it for whatever you can get. There's a couple $100 in your pocket. You can do that this week. This week you can reduce your monthly payments by $150, $100 to $150, and put a couple $100 in your pocket just by getting rid of your cable. Just get rid of it, right? Now, that has the added benefit you won't be getting bombarded by commercials of buy this piece of junk, buy this piece of crap, right? Because that's all television and cable is a giant commercial, right? It's commercials interspersed with, what is it, 20 minutes of every hour is commercials. So anyway, that's the first thing that you should do. Then take a look at your telephone. Um, a basic telephone service should run anywhere from $30 to $40 a month. And that's your basic telephone without long distance and so on and so forth. If you're paying more than that, if you have a long distance package, add another $30. So you're looking at 30 to $40. So you're looking at $60 to $80 a month. And if you have cell phones on that, I'm not familiar with the cell phone prices, but I mean, if you have a landline and cell phones, well, there you go. Get rid of it. Get rid of all of that. All you need is a basic landline or a basic cell phone. That's it. Should run you between $30 and $40 a month. So you save $30 or $40 there, $50 depending on whatever. But right now, between the cable and the cell phone, you're up to almost $200 a month in your pocket. Then let's take a look at the next thing you can do this week, your vehicle. If you have a car that you're paying on, a late model car, and you've got a payment on it, sell it for whatever you can get and pay down the debt. Get that car payment off your back. I mean, car payments today are anywhere from, $400 to $600 or $700 a month. You can put another four or five or six, let's just say $500 a month. Car payment. Boom. That's $500 there. $150 on your cable, $40 on your telephone service. Right now, this week, you can unload $700 in debt. Now, you're going to need a vehicle. Well, you buy a junker, right? Go looking for a junker for $1,000, $1,500. You only got to survive a couple of weeks without a car, and you'll be able to get that amount of money. But you're going to make some more money by selling other junk. Look around. You've got an incredible toolkit. You've got power tools and saws and all this kind of crap. Sell it all. You don't need it. Think about it. This stuff is just sitting in your garage. Go into your garage and just start selling. Right? You can use Kijiji, you can use Craigslist, whatever. Just start selling all this stuff, and that'll pay for the junker. But as you can see, you can reduce your payments very quickly. Now, when you do buy a car, get a small fuel-efficient car. Chances are you might have an SUV or you might have a bigger car or a truck, and they're big fuel consumers. If you go to a little Neon or a Hyundai Accent or an Echo, I mean, these are fuel-efficient cars. They get for $50 you can go 600 kilometers or whatever that is in miles. They're pretty efficient. 35 miles to the gallon versus 15 or 20. So you've reduced that payout as well. And then just look around at anything else. Anything that you have a monthly payment on, get rid of it. Now, you have credit cards, I'm sure, and you're paying on them. The thing about the credit cards is what you have to do is you have to say to yourself, I'm not worthy to have a credit card, and you're not. If you have a credit card and you're not paying off the balance every month, you shouldn't have a credit card. Cut it up. Cut up all your credit cards. You won't need them, right? Once the credit cards are cut up, you won't be able to spend money that you don't have. You won't be able to make those impulse purchases, and those credit companies, those bastards, they know that you're going to be someplace and you're going to see it, and it's going to be $75 or $80 or $200, and you've only got $30 in your pocket. You say, well, I'll just pay it on the credit card and I'll pay it off, which you never do. Now, some of you do, of course, and like if you're able to pay off the balance every month, I can't. That's why I don't have credit cards. If I want something, I have to save for it, or I have to go into my savings to buy it. And then you have sober second thought. You see something, you go, geez, I want that. And then you go, whoa, wait a minute. And as you're walking to the bank, you start thinking about, what do I want that piece of junk for? Now, once you get rid of that, then let's start looking at that big old Turkey McMansion house of yours. It might be your dream home. You might be living in the dream neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? You got a mortgage of $1,000 a month. Chances are, the house is worth less than you paid for it. Get rid of it. Just sell it. Sell it for whatever you can get. Or, better still, walk into the bank, say, there's the keys. Fuck off. Right? If people started doing that, they'd get they would come to terms. But if, basically get rid of the house, get rid of it. Even if you sell it and you don't get what's owed on it, what you owe then is a hell of a lot less, and you can negotiate, and maybe you can get you can just tell them, say, well, if you want your money, I'll pay you $200 for the next 10 years. Right? $200 a month for the next 10 years or whatever. They'll have to deal with you. So anyway, in order to get out of debt, you're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to eat some crow, and the thing is if you're basing your life on the fact that, oh, look at me, I've got all these toys, I've got a boat, and I've got this, that, and the other thing, but oh yeah, I can't afford a box of Kraft Dinner. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with that scenario. You just have to make a major change in your life. Now, on the other side, uh, to stay out of debt, never buy anything new. Never buy a new car. Never buy a new television. Never buy a new toaster. My toaster I bought for $3 at a yard sale. My kettle I bought for $5 at a yard sale. Right? The clothes I wear I buy at the thrift stores. I buy everything used. If I need a hammer, I go to a flea market and buy it. I needed a set of half-inch sockets. I priced them at Canadian Tire, and at Sears it would have cost me like $150. At the yard sale, at yard sales and flea markets, I ended up getting the basic similar set, and I think I'm into it for like $25. But I bought a ratchet here, some sockets here, so on and so forth. But it took a little doing, but it would have been, if I was a millionaire, I'd go into Canadian Tire and just buy the $150 set. But I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a thousandaire. But the thing is that you buy stuff used, and you got all those tools, you got all those toys, are you using them? Because, if you haven't used them in the last 3 months, what good is it to them? To say, you got something you've got $500 or $600 tied up into something, and you haven't used it in 6 months. Sell it. Take the $500 or $600, put it on your debt, get these people off your back, and then start saving money. Now, the banks don't pay interest and all this kind of shit, but you know what? It's better to have money and not need it than to don't have money and need it. And if you got $10,000 or $12,000 or $20,000 in the bank, right, and you don't have any payments, you got the world by the ass. All right. But it all starts with getting rid of that television set, getting rid of that cable. Anyway, I'll be putting up more stuff.